What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Lamar Jackson and his throwing motion. We're going to talk about what makes his throwing motion special, where are some areas that he can improve on, and just why overall I think he's a much improved passer this year. And guys, if you want to submit your throwing mechanics for a breakdown just like this one, clips of you throwing, game clip, check out that link in the description where it says film breakdown to find out some information on my film breakdown service. Let's get started. So the first clip is going to be a deep ball he threw at the Pro Bowl, right? Nice casual throw, but we're going to talk about why this ball is it's got so much deep ball power and how it's got so much velocity, right? How he can throw this thing so far. So the main thing I want to talk about here is when he takes this ball back, I want you to look at these shoulders, right? He's not real tense up here at his traps. He's got this 45-degree angle arc with his shoulders because he knows that that's how we propel this thing forward. Now, obviously, I would like his posture to be a little bit better in this situation, guys. I want my posture to be he's kind of hunched over. I would like to try to keep my chest up and then arc my shoulders, okay? But we're going to talk about why he's got so much force going up right now, okay? So when you arc these shoulders and you get in this opposite equal position right here, you take that ball back in that L, now your hip has got to shoot you through. And you see here how his hip is what brings this ball through. And the hip is coming through before the ball. They call that chasing the hip, right? Even on a deep ball, guys, we want to have the same kind of upper body mechanics that we would normally throw on, let's say, a quick slant, a dig, whatever kind of route that you would work. We want the same kind of mechanics, okay? So you see how he's here and his hips are shooting him through, and I want you to look at this front arm. That's how we keep torque and how we can be accurate, right? So what a lot of guys will do on a deep ball is they take this front shoulder and they swing it way outside their frame. They swing it way outside their frame here, and then what happens is the ball trails outside of their frame. But you see, because he keeps this left arm nice and tight, his shoulders stay level. He's not dipping his head out of there because his shoulder's dipping out of there, and he's not dipping this elbow, which makes his release go a little bit higher and outside of his frame, right? He keeps his front arm nice and tight. He's driving this back hip through, and look at the ball is chasing the hip. Those are the 3 points that I want to be at with my upper body mechanics, okay? And then now you can see when he releases this thing, his follow-through's up in the air and he's extending. What I see a lot of people do on a deep ball is they try to push this thing, or they might try to place it and kind of push it back with their elbow, and their elbow here rounds, right? I want to extend. I want to have full extension. I want to flick my wrist at the top of this throw, almost like I'm shooting a free throw. And then again, look at what happens. Left arm stays tight. He's not swinging this left elbow down. He keeps that left hand somewhere in front of his face. When you look at all elite passers, right? Let's go down the list right now. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, right? You look at some of the elite guys in the league right now and you watch that front arm, that's exactly what they do. They keep the left hand or their front hand with your lefty somewhere in front of their face, okay, like you're eating a sandwich, because that helps you be a little bit more accurate. It doesn't swing your left side outside of the throw, okay? And then again, flicking that wrist right at the top, and you see the results. Very accurate ball, 50 yards downfield, hitting this crossbar. Let's watch it full speed one more time. So again, arc those shoulders, let the hips drive you through, flick your wrist at the top. Great job by Lamar Jackson. Okay, so we're going to talk about him in the pocket right here. We're going to talk about one thing I think he can improve on, okay? So you guys might have seen, let's watch the throw full speed. Now, this is a great throw, mind you. It's just I want it to be I want him to have more power from his legs. That's what I'm getting at right here in this scenario. So we're going to talk about how in the pocket. Now, when you watch him at Louisville, right, his base is improved 10 times over, right? You see his feet, they're a little bit outside of his shoulders, right? Kind of shoulder width apart. At Louisville, his feet were almost close together, and you saw how he had a longer stride, right? He wasn't as dynamic of a passer as he is with the Ravens right now, okay? Now, one thing I think he can improve on is his base, okay? You look at guys like Drew Brees, right? You look at his base in the pocket, man. That guy stays so wide. You look at Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, because the whole goal is to maximize ground force from this back leg and get the front leg in the ground. You guys might have seen that clip. I know it's going around on Instagram. It was Drew Brees talking to Kirk Cousins about how he got his release quicker, right? And it was by widening his base, but also your release gets quicker, but also you're able to get more velocity behind the ball because you heard him talking about maximizing ground force. Because when my feet are here, I'm always going to be limited on how much I'm going to be able to push because I don't want to pop up, right? I'm only going to be able to push a little bit. But if I widen my feet out to where they're just outside my shoulders. Now, Lamar Jackson, he's about, 6'3"? He can afford to maybe lose half of an inch by widening his base out and sitting his butt down, right? He won't even lose that much, right? It's not one of those things that matters when it comes to mechanics. If he can widen out just a little bit, because you see when he drives off this back leg here, you see how he gets a little bit more narrow, and his stride is out. You see how it's coming out. Now, it's still in the ground fast, right? But I just don't see him maximizing ground force right here. I don't see him pushing a lot off of this back leg, right? He's got a lot of rotational force, and yes, he does have a strong arm, right? But now, the main thing is I could get more. It's like money. You always want more, right? So if he could get into a little bit wider of a position where his feet are just outside of his shoulders, he can push even harder off this back leg. That front leg will get down in the exact same spot. It won't be like he's going to be shortening up his stride too much. It'll still be at the same stride length. It just happens faster. And then what happens is the back hip comes through quicker, and then the ball comes through quicker. So for all you quarterbacks that kind of have a narrow base like this, guys, let's widen our feet just outside my shoulders so I can push even more off of the inside arch of my back leg. But still, obviously a great throw because you see how much his hip is coming through. But again, with this back leg, you see how this back leg's kind of extending back here? Go watch Aaron Rodgers when he throws. This back leg is bent knee because he's rotating and he's pushing so much off of that back leg, okay? So that's one area I think he can improve on. But let's watch the throw again. Still a great ball, a lot of rotational force. I just think he's not getting as much out of it as he can with his legs, right? Okay, so now he's going to be throwing this dig. Let's watch this thing full speed. Taking a 5-step drop, hitch, and throw. Okay, so again, we're going to kind of talk about the same thing with that back leg. You see how when he's driving off the back leg here, that front leg's kind of taking a while, right? When I start to push off of this back leg, I want that front leg in the ground right now. Now, granted, here's the good news. He's probably the best quarterback in the NFL this past year, right? When it's all said and done, and he's still got a lot of room for improvement, right? So imagine when and I guarantee you he's working on this right now, because if I'm talking about this, I know he's talking about it. I know he's aware of it. And I know his quarterback coaches are aware of it, right? So if he can get this base wider, and he could get that front foot in the ground just a little bit faster, you see how when he starts to drive, I want the foot in the ground right now. If he gets that foot in the ground right now, right here, right now, that's when the back hip will start to come through, and that's when this ball is going to start to be more consistent for him, okay? So if he could just get that front foot in the ground a little bit faster, he's going to have a much better time making this throw, because you see, when he gets that front foot in the ground, he's kind of in this, he's not necessarily in that L angle, but he's not right to 90, but you see when he starts to rotate through, he kind of has that hiccup in his motion right here, right? Like this ball is trailing behind him a little too much. He's still getting his hip through the throw, don't get me wrong. It's just I would like this to be in that position of zero that everybody likes to talk about. I would just like this ball to be coming through right now. I'd like him to be rotating from this L right here, coming up right now, having a little bit more force behind it, and that starts with getting his front leg in the ground, right? But you see he makes up for it by having great rotational force, able to drive with this back hip, able to rotate his hips and finish on the throw, keeping that left arm tight, and you can see he's still a dynamic passer. He would not have won the MVP if he couldn't pass, right? And I think he proved everybody wrong who said he wasn't a passer. It's just that's one area that he can 100% get better at, is getting that front foot in the ground a little bit faster. You look at guys like Tom Brady, he barely even moves that front leg. Drew Brees, again, Aaron Rodgers, guys with some of the quickest releases in the game, it all starts with that front foot. Let's watch it again full speed. Again, driving off the right leg, driving off the inside arch. It's just I got to get that front foot down faster so I can get my hip through, balls out quicker, and I'm more efficient, and I can maximize ground force production. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want your mechanics broken down, you want to submit your mechanics to me, check out that link in the description, guys, and please leave in the comments who you would like to see me break down next. I'll make sure to get back to you. I'll see you guys next time.